Hey everyone, RogueGold here. Welcome back to the Division 2. And today, I want to talk about Year 8. In case you missed the news, this past week, confirmation of Year 8 content was casually confirmed at the FPS Day event, where we also learned about some of the game's upcoming 10th anniversary content plans, the addition of realism mode, and more. I'll have that one linked down in the description in case you missed it and want to find out more. But what they also talked about was how Year 8 is set to begin right after the anniversary concludes in March. That's right, we're getting back on the March calendar all these years later. And they also confirmed that a full reveal of a roadmap and planned content for it will be unveiled during the March celebrations. Well, today, I say, why wait? Between comments and hints that we've been getting over the past several months, as well as an interview that the Division 2's creative director did at FPS Day that I've not seen that many people talking about, we have somewhat of an idea about what the team is looking at for the future. So, this video is going to be a rundown of what we know so far regarding Year 8 and future content. Of course, there's bound to be much more once we get the full reveal, but this should be a nice refresher and preview while we wait for March. So, we'll get straight into it. If you don't want to miss out on future news for the Division 2, including when March rolls around and we get the full reveal on this stuff, then be sure to subscribe. A huge shout out and thank you to our channel members. As always, your support directly enables me to continue making videos on this channel, so thank you so much for that. But without further ado, let's get to it. Alright, so let us begin with that aforementioned article. Some of the other stuff that we're going to cover in this video has been mentioned in videos past, but at FPS Day, Yannick, who is the game's creative director, revealed some new details about things that the team might be looking to change. This article was conducted by EAA, which upon doing some research looks to be one of the top FPS and gaming publications within Japan, where FPS Day took place. That said, this interview has been translated to English, so it's possible that it is not a perfectly accurate representation of the exact questions and quotes. As you'll see, I think we largely get the big picture here, but there's one or two odd sentences mixed in, so I just wanted to warn you on that. And any Japanese speakers who may be watching are welcome to chime in the comments if anything seems off. But that article will be linked for anybody who wants to check it out. It covers many topics from the Division 2's ongoing development to their presence at FPS Day, Resurgence, the Division 3, and more. In particular, though, I want to show you a few quotes given when the interviewer asks about future Division 2 plans. The first topic here is clans. The interviewer asks, a little more about the community. There are many enthusiastic clans in Japan who have been active for a long time. Are there any plans to add new content featuring the clan feature? And Yannick responds by saying, we will talk more about our future plans in the future, but of course we want to further strengthen the social experience of the Division 2 and bring it closer to the core of the game. Plans have been a feature since launch, but we haven't done much with them until now, so we want to shake things up. We have a few ideas. Very interesting. This is the first indication that we've gotten, that I can remember, that they have any intention to do anything with clans, as he notes they have basically been the same since launch. He prefaces that answer by saying, we will talk about future plans in the future, so to me, that likely sounds like March. But yeah, that suggests that this is very much something on the roadmap and something that they've been working on. I'm excited to see what that's going to be. I would love if we got some greater clan competition features or deepened customization in clan housing, but maybe that's a little far-fetched. We'll see. The next topic then is build crafting. The interviewer asks, do you pay attention to the usage rate of builds? With the distinction between red, blue, and yellow, and the wide variety of buffs available, I think many people tend to rely on Striker. And that's a very good question. I think they are very correct in highlighting Striker as the go-to option for many players in content. Yannick's response to this is a bit long, but bear with me, as by the end of it he drops a very intriguing hint. He says, yes, everybody likes Strikers, right? But that's not a bad thing. It's natural that there's a set that everyone likes. However, you need to offer different options between red, blue, and yellow. The reason players are stuck in the red zone is because red embodies the shooter fantasy, and in a shooter game, killing enemies quickly is more appealing than increasing durability. We don't intend to go against that, but we will increase attractive options that will encourage players to try other play styles. I don't think it will ever surpass red, but I hope to continue this style in the future, creating seasons where blue is stronger or yellow is stronger. So, yeah, I think that is a perfectly acceptable acceptable answer there. And I think we've been seeing them doing this in recent seasons by adding sets like Refactor and Measured Assembly. Both of those are pretty powerful non-red sets. The next part of this, though, is where things start to get good. The interviewer asks, do you have any concrete ideas for making these new builds feasible? And I just want to note, I think this is where the translation gets a little bit wonky, but this is what is said. He says, first, we want to expand our sets and brands. It is difficult to add new sets when we have powerful sets like Striker, and adding sets of similar strength would lead to inflation. So going forward, we will be increasing the number of powerful sets that are tailored to specific playstyles. That part seems contradictory to me, where he says adding similarly powerful sets increases inflation, but then immediately says that is what they're going to do. Again, that may very well just come down to the translation, so keep that in mind. But then take a look at his final quote here. He says, we also have some ideas for creating new types of items that are not sets, exotics, or brands. Very interesting. That immediately gives me flashbacks to 2023 when we first learned about Seasons 2.0, and initially they were hyping up this new item type that we were going to be getting. To the very best of my understanding, that ended up being passive modifier, since you could originally farm those via priority objectives and you could mix and match them within the modifier system. I don't think those ended up quite having the impact that we were anticipating given the quotes beforehand, but this sounds like they might be taking another swing at something similar. Could they be introducing a new rarity tier? Could they be introducing a new item slot like for trinkets, as has been speculated before? I don't know, but I'm very interested to find out. Next, we then get to storage. The interviewer asks, are there any plans to increase storage or inventory capacity? Yannick replies by saying, we have expanded the vault within the Warlords of New York and Battle for Brooklyn DLCs, so there is room to expand it a bit more, but we are being cautious due to technical limitations. However, when it comes to storage capacity, we believe that we need to address the fundamental problem. Why do players need to store so many items? How do we address this issue? Rather than simply increasing capacity, we are looking into ways to reduce the need to store each and every item in the game in the first place. Okay, so this I find to be very interesting because this is actually something that they've been talking about for a long time. I recall as far as even 2 or 3 years back, them discussing the need to tackle storage more fundamentally on dev streams and whatnot. It had been quite a while since they'd mentioned anything on that, though, and of course they finally figured out how to give us more storage slots during 2025. But him bringing this up again makes me wonder if year 8 may finally be the time that they address this. I know many have given the suggestion of something like a database where you don't need to actually save a physical item, rather you upload copies of items that you find, and you could then recall those at any time. Would that actually make any sort of difference in terms of technical storage? I have no idea. I'm not a game dev. Either way, though, I'll be interested to see if and what we learn about this. So, those were all of the main bits to come out of this interview from EAA. Great stuff. I think the interviewer asked some good questions. And again, that will be linked down below in the description in case you want to go and read the entire thing for yourself. Aside from just that interview, however, we have 2 more categories of content and changes that have been getting teased for quite some time now, and year 8 seems like when they will finally actually come to life. First up is PvP. Now, I don't need to explain to anybody who engages with PvP how long it has been since we have had any kind of love or attention given to that side of the game. Well, legitimately, it seems like it's finally going to happen. The first hint that we got about this was Alex, the Division 2's game director, tweeting this out towards the end of October, stating that they were apparently ready to turn their attention towards PvP. That post came with a link to a job listing for a lead PvP game designer for the Division 2. Now, this would be the first time that we would have had somebody in a role like that for years. We covered this news and that post back at the time, but there has actually been a bit of an update to this, and that is that the role has seemingly been filled. Now, given I cover this stuff here on the channel, I regularly check the division's job listings, and while this one had stayed up for pretty much all of November and December, as of very recently, when you go in and check, it has been delisted, which more than likely means that they've found and hired somebody on. Assuming this is the case, I would not expect PvP things to start happening tomorrow, right? It's going to take this person time to acclimate and get a lay of the land, but there is more, as it seems like the team did not wait for this person to be hired on to to start making changes. Back in the Year 7 Season 3 PTS developer notes, which was released in November, they confirmed that a large-scale balance pass is in progress for PvP, and due to that, they did not want to make any huge disruptions in the meta during the interim. So, given that was already pushing 2 months ago, I would definitely expect to start hearing about this in the next couple of months here, and hopefully, with a new PvP lead and visibility from the team, we could start to see more PvP changes and improvements happen throughout 2026 and Year 8. Alright, but with that, we move on to our final topic, which is difficulty. As we have discussed here on the channel before, and many veteran players have been shouting for quite some time, the Division 2 has effectively run out of difficult content and challenges to offer up its most hardcore audience. Now, much like with storage, this is also something that the devs have been acknowledging and talking about for quite some time. I want to say even as far back as Season 9 and 10 is when Yannick started to talk about on streams how they recognized the need for greater difficulty. Well, it seems like the time may have come for them to finally act on it. First, I want you to take a look at this dev stream clip, which came from the Year 7 Season 3 PTS dev stream back in November.
Okay, general questions now, Yannick. Is there a plan to give veteran players some harder challenge? Heroic content is a breeze.
Yes.
That's it.
Yeah. Nothing we've talked about, but yeah, I mean, clearly challenge is, and not challenge in the sense of, the challenging difficulty, but challenge for veteran players is something we want to look at. We want to make sure that there is something interesting, something that's gonna, pack a punch against the most advanced players. We have a bunch of ideas and some pretty cool solutions. So more on that later, but yes, it's pretty high on our agenda.
Yeah, people will have to wait to see what we are planning, but yeah.
So, yeah, that makes it pretty clear that not only do they recognize the need for greater investment in difficult challenges, but as Yannick says, it is high on their priority list, and I think you can tell by his response that something is well in the works. But that also plays right into the few official comments we have received on Year 8 so far, so now I want you to take a look at this clip from the FPS Day recap video, where Raul from the Bucharest team speaks on Year 8.
And following the anniversary season, we're stepping into Year 8, a new chapter for the Division 2, packed with exciting content reveals, fresh gameplay features, and ultimate challenges. We'll share more details about our Year 8 plans in March, so stay tuned.
Ultimate challenges, huh? Yeah, I think it's pretty clear that some form of new, higher difficulty content is on the way, and I'm very excited to see what that may bring. Well, there you have it, my friends. That is a rundown of everything that we know so far about future updates or content coming to the Division 2 within the Year 8 timeframe, or at the very least what the team is talking more concretely about moving forward. Again, the full details about Year 8 are coming in March for the anniversary, but I hope that you enjoyed this preview and recap of what we've been told thus far. And yeah, between harder PvE, challenges, PvP updates, potentially new types of items being released, that sounds right up my alley, so I really can't wait to find out more. I would love to get all of your guys' thoughts about these little news bits and quotes that we've been given so far, for the type of player you are and what you enjoy within the game. How does Year 8 sound to you? What do you want to hear more about most, or what have you not heard about that you do hope that they focus on in the future? Let me know. I'll be curious to hear your thoughts. That is going to do it for me on this one though. Thank you all for coming by and watching, and until I see you next, RogueGold. Ow. Oh! We just got a Ravenous! Haha! I might not be friendly. Let's go.
Coming to the Division 2.
Let's go!
And